Hi, Miriam Grazier with you again today. And today I'm sharing with you another project I've made for Lisa Horton Crafts. And I'm using the MDF bookcase and I've created some books to go with it. The bookcase and books come as a kit and you assemble them yourself, but they're really easy to assemble. The bookcase is MDF and then you have grey board as well to create your books. And you get a choice and you get more than you need in the kit. So here today I've created 3 larger books. There's also the option to create 5 smaller books or even mix and match. So it gives you lots of creativity and the ability to design it as you want. And again, the books are as easy to assemble as the MDF bookcase too. But before I show you what I've done, I thought I would share some of the products I've used to create this from Lisa Horton Crafts. So first and foremost are these wonderful grey board flourishes, and I absolutely adore these. What's brilliant is you can have them whichever way you want to, because once you get some paint on them you can't see the marks from the grey board being cut. They're really sturdy, it's very thick chipboard, and such beautiful flourishes. And you'll see what I've done with mine is I've layered some up and I've added extras onto them, and in some instances I've even used the little bits that have come out of it. I don't know if you can see that, so the waste I guess, to add on to my flourishes. So that's the first one. And then I've used two stencils. The first one is the Sunburst, and I adore this. It's such a beautiful, versatile stencil. You could do so much with it. And in this instance, I've used texture paste with it. And if you do use texture paste, make sure that you wash your stencil as soon as you can, straight afterwards, so that you don't ruin the stencil. Because if the texture paste becomes hard, then it might impair some of the stencil that you're using. Having said that, some of those mixed media enthusiasts out there and those that like grungy effects might actually like that a little bit. And whilst I don't mind a tiny bit, I do like to try to take care of my stencils. So that's that one. And then the other stencil I've used for my project is this one, and this is the motivational words. And you can see I've used paint with it. And yes, it's left a little bit of staining after it's been cleaned, but the quality of these stencils are so good it hasn't impacted the stencil whatsoever. And there's some really fabulous words on here to motivate you that could be used in your journaling, your scrapbooking, your card making, your mixed media, whatever craft you do, however you do it. This is a fabulous stencil to use. And again, all of these are Lisa Horton Crafts. And you can go to thatcraftplace.co.uk to purchase these in a couple of weeks' time. And on Monday you'll see them on Create and Crafts. That's Monday the 3rd of February. Lisa's got 2 shows and you'll be able to see some of the fantastic projects that have been made using these stencils. So going back to my actual project, I'll start by showing you the bookcase itself. I hope you can see that quite clearly. So I started off that the paints I've used are paper artsy, which means I didn't need to add a primer or add any gesso. The paint is such good quality chalk paint that I was able just to paint directly on it. But before I got to that stage, I added some grunge paste through the stencil, and as you can see, it's really left a gorgeous dimension. And it really is just touchable as well, such a beautiful feel to it. And I also added, and I'll see if I can get this nearer the camera, some extra grunge paste in various areas, just to give it that little bit more worn effect and just sort of grungy effect there, just because that's what I like. And I've done that all the way round. The paints I've used are, if I can remember rightly, mahogany, autumn fire. I've used a touch of terracotta, and that's it, I believe. And then, as you can see, I've added some treasure gold to the top just to bring out a little bit of the shine, because I wanted my sunflowers to stand out a little bit more. But But I just love these little patches where all the colours are coming through, and you can see the terracotta, the mahogany, the orange from the autumn fire. I think they work beautifully together. Had I wanted to create more of a rusty effect, I'd also use something like mud splat, again a paper artsy fresco paint. There you go. And again you can see just where I've added these extra bits of grunge paste, which just makes me want to constantly touch the bookcase. I'm really, really happy with how that came out. So that's the bookcase, and then I've created 3 large books. As I said, you have the opportunity to mix and match or to create smaller books should you wish. It's really up to your artistic flair and your creativity, but for this project I've created 3, and I've added pages to 2 of them, and then one I've just left blank for you to see, and that's this one. So here I've just added a book plate, but this is the front, and you can see the effect I've created with these paints. In this case I've used Midnight and I've used green patina, and I've added just a tiny touch of the terracotta in places, and I think that came out really well. Here are those beautiful grey board flourishes, and you can see that I've added 2 together there just to enlarge it a bit more. But I'm really, really happy with how that came out. And you can see the inside, I've left this blank on purpose, but I've just added elastic for the pages, and had I been decorating it I'd have also covered the inside and done a bit more in there. So then the others, if we look at this one first, again I've actually used for this one the same colours as I used for the first one I showed you, but I've added just a little bit less of the green patina, and you can see it's brought out more of the Midnight, and Midnight is one of my most favourite colours ever. I use it quite a lot, and it's an absolutely beautiful colour, but I think it goes really well with the effect I've created for the project as a whole. And then again I've used those wonderful stenciled words, and I stenciled with paint first, and then I've just gone over them slightly with or round them I should say, with a black marker. And again I've added some gold touch in. The flourish itself, again I've used 2 of them and just added them together, just to give that little bit of touch to the book. You can see it's shining but actually looks quite vintagey at the same time. For the inside here I've created lots of different pages. I've also added a little clip, but the idea is that these will be junk journals. So again, like the project I created a few weeks ago, it's a case of creating whatever you want. It could be that you want to create some art in here, used as a journal. It could be that I want to write down my thoughts of the day or any special memories. But whatever I do, I have lots of different types of pages to create that on. So I've got some shaving foam techniques, and a lot of these are some craft paper, even some jelly prints that I've done previously. A lot of these are pages I've had in my stash and I've used. I've also this time made sure that not all my pages are exactly the same size, so I've got some smaller ones as well, and they might just be for little notes or whatever I want really. So that's that book. And then for the last book, I decided to use the same colours as I used for the actual bookcase, but again, if you see, it looks entirely different. Here you can see more of the autumn fire that's come out, but beautiful effect again, using those wonderful grey board flourishes, the motivational words stencil, which I've again stenciled with paint and then just covered around it. I've used these little metal embellishments to create little charms. I've left the back sides quite bare, but again I could decorate those should I wish to. And you can just see some of the sparkle from the gold as well, which when you're looking at it off camera does have quite a vintage effect to it. So then my pages again, I've used clips, I've used old masterboards that I've created. These are samples I was doing and just playing around with some distress sprays, and I've used some grit paste here. I've got little metal embellishment. I really like this one. It says it's never too late to start now. I thought that's a great way to start a journal because it's just a jumping off point. Sometimes, especially when if you had all white paper, it could be quite daunting, it could be quite intimidating, but having different types of paper and even just something, a quote to start you off really helps and makes it a little bit less scary. So I have got some just plain white papers in here as well, but I've got more of the distress backgrounds. I really like this one. I think this just looks beautiful. It's got lots of splatters in it. Again, some craft paper, some more jelly prints, and just some odd scraps from shaving foam techniques, etc. So there you have it. So they're my 3 books and my bookcase. If you pop over to the Facebook group, which is Crafting with Lisa Horton, or you pop along to the blog, which is lisahortoncrafts.blogspot.com, you'll be able to see lots of different inspiration for these bookcases and books. The design team have been very busy, and we've absolutely loved playing with these, and they all look so different. So be it the grungier style, be it the very clean and simple, the very pretty, it just goes to show that how one kit of MDF and greyboard could be used in so many different ways and just given inspiration to people. And I've already got ideas for another. I thought maybe my next one will be Alice in Wonderland themed. For those of you that know me will know that I'm a big fan of Alice in Wonderland, and I thought it'd be really nice next time to create one that's themed along that way. So there you have it. I'll give you one last look at these beautiful stencils. Just can't get enough of these. And as I said at the start, these extra little texture background bits and the colours that are coming through there. So yeah, really happy with that. It's worked out quite well for me, I think. And hopefully you like it too. So if you do like it, give me a thumbs up on YouTube, and also, as I said, pop along to the Facebook group, which is Crafting with Lisa Horton, and also the blog, which you can find at lisahortoncrafts.blogspot.com. Alternatively, pop across to my blog, which is miriamscreativedreams.blogspot.com, and you'll be able to see lots more of what I've created with these bookcases. Thank you for joining me, and happy crafting!